Everyone has definitely heard of or seen the map of the second largest state in the United States, Texas. Everyone has also wanted to go to Texas before or has been to Texas. Everyone has also wanted to experience the buzzing cities of Texas. I've once been fascinated by Texas and I've made my research on Texas, even from when I used to think it was the largest state in the United States of America. Texas was once known as the Republic of Texas and was named by the Spanish and the Mexicans. It was also known as Republica de Teja rather. Americans moved in the early 800s to the West Coast, but they were settling down in Texas rather. And this is a map of the current Texas. This is the map of the Texas in the 1800s. So the Americans were settling in here because they wanted to expand more on their cotton kingdom and in slavery. But there were already indigenous people of Mexico settling down in Texas before the Americans came in. They were known as the Tejanos. The Americans who moved in were known as the Texians. The West Coast push that was happening in the 1800s was for land, for opportunity. They also believed that they were led by a divine being or a god. The Americans did not just move in alone, they came with their culture and they also came with slavery. But the Mexicans, the Tejanos, were not ready for slave trade. They did not like the idea. While there was Mexican unrest happening during this time because the Mexicans had just finished fighting the Mexico-Spanish War that lasted for 11 years, they started noticing the influx of Americans. So they got scared. They decided to do something about it. At this point, 75% of the people in Texas were Americans. They also brought in their Protestant culture of Christianity that went against the Catholic culture that the Tejanos practiced. During this period, President Santa Anna grew fearful, and so he decided to enforce laws and strengthen the military and the custom. He abolished slavery in Texas, which made the Americans fearful on their own end too. During this point, they decided to revolt. They also had, the Americans, which are the Texians, had some wealthy Tejanos on their end because these wealthy people wanted to trade peacefully, but the laws that President Santa had put in place was preventing them from doing so. So as of October 1835, a revolution has started, and this prevented many things from moving forward. President Santa had broken down the legislature and stopped the Constitution of Mexico and Texas. Now, this revolution became a full war. The people that fought this war were not more than 10,000 people. The deadliest battle of this war was the Battle of Alamo, and it was fought in March 6, 1836. This war lasted for 7 months. According to Deborah Petit, she said the convention at the Washington on the Brazos votes anonymously on the Declaration of Independence. This meant that while the war and revolution was going on, the Texians, which are the Americans in Texas, met and they secretly picked their own governor for Texas and the military head for Texas. And they also declared independence on March 2nd, 1836. Here is a map of Texas, and here was where the colonies had already covered up. Lastly, we could see that the last battle for this was in April 1836 in San Jacinto. Sam Houston, who was once the former governor of Tennessee and the current military head for this battle, chanted, "Victory is certain, trust God and fear not," as he conquered. The Battle of Alamo, which was the deadliest, was won by the Mexicans. But the Battle of San Jacinto, which was the last, was won by the Americans. Texas was not fully recognized as a state of the United States until 1837. In conclusion, we can see that the Americans took over Texas and the Texians became the owners of Texas. Texas, that was once known as the Republic of Texas or República de Texas by the Spanish, is now known as Texas and part of the United States of America. This chain of events that led to their independence in March 2nd, even after the independence, there was still more war. We see what happened. Now, when we remember Texas, we would definitely also remember the history of Texas.